One thing that has been a big topic of conversation is AI in gaming. Where does AI have a place in gaming? Is it allowed to be used for concepting? Can we use it as part of the final product? Can it be used in the creative process, the development and coding process? Where is AI appropriate from an ethical standpoint? And we've been arguing this and talking about this for a long time from people on all sides, from cost savings to honoring and respecting the legacy of existing actors and voice actors. But we haven't really been able to come to a final conclusion. And I have a bit of a black pill opinion on this topic of AI in gaming, but it's something that I think needs to be talked about and addressed more, because we've had another couple of deaths on the battlefield, as it were, in this subject, as we've had two voice actors recently standing up against the use of AI and what companies want to do with AI and their voices just be removed from their roles. And we're talking about Zenless Zone Zero voice actors. Now, as somebody who is one of the few people that actually cares about and talks about Zenless Zone Zero at all, I felt like I needed to do some kind of video talking about this, talking about the situation, and kind of giving my take overall, because there's an idealistic take, but then there's the reality. And so let's talk about it. Gamers, will you answer the call and help save the world from demon spawn, skinwalkers, and horrible armies of the undead, and save the world of Teleria? Raid Shadow Legends is a turn-based RPG and champion builder with numerous types of content. Campaigns, dungeons, raid bosses, PvP, and more can all be accessed for free in this game. Personally, I've been trying to clear the faction war as of late, and it's been pushing my account in a completely new direction. I think Raid's going a little crazy right now because in their latest update, they're giving a ton away for free. If you sign up with my link in the description, you'll get the free epic champion Zargala on your account after completing the tutorial for the game. And then after reaching account level 15, you'll get the supporter Yugo, who's a great cleanser and debuffer for your account. And now these are two great epic champions, but what about some legendaries? Now, when you start a new raid account, it's going to trigger the Alice Chase event, where after logging in for 7 days, you'll get the free legendary champion Alice the Wanderer on your account. But that's not all. For the first time ever, Raid is giving away a free legendary Void champion for new Raid players. From March 5th to March 31st, you can use the code Supreme6 to get another legendary champion, Supreme Gallic, on any new Raid account. In partnership with Raid, I also started a new Raid account and a channel that you can find in the link in the description. Now, a lot of people ask me, Connor, how can I support the channel? How can I support you? Downloading Raid and giving it a try is a great way how you can help support me and what I do here. Sign up with my link in the description or in the pinned comment to this video to get your free champions today. So to dive into it, the first voice actor that was replaced was Soldier 11, Emery Chase. Now, if you've been playing Zenless Zone Zero for a while now, you'll know that her voice has been missing. She's not the only one. Another voice that has been missing as well is Nicholas Thurkettle, as he's also been missing. He's the voice of Von Lycon. And it seems like, unfortunately, the situation and how they found out about this was they weren't actually informed. Now, I'm going to be completely honest. As somebody who's been sticking with the game, it is really jarring to be playing the game, having it fully voice acted in English, and you're going through, and then all of a sudden, boop, the voice just no longer is there. And I think recently in one of the latest story patches, Rena was also missing. So who knows if maybe something's going to happen with that voice actor next, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. But Emery posted this tweet. I was replaced as Soldier 11 because I am unwilling to perform work not covered by the SAG interim agreement during a strike for AI protections, the outcome of which will determine the future of our industry. Any other theories that pop up are incorrect. Now, she's got a full thread that kind of jumps into the difference between struck and not struck, and kind of clarifying the whole thing, why she was withholding the work, and that she loved working on ZZZ and would be thrilled to return the project post-strike or with an interim agreement. But she stands by her choices regardless of the outcome. All my best wishes to the cast and the production team. So basically, what has happened is, as a member of the union, somebody who's been standing out against what these companies have been trying to do with AI, she has lost her job over this. But she's not the only one. Nicholas Thurkettle also was replaced in-game, and he found out literally when the update came out and the voice was already replaced as part of the dev notes. And he said, Proxies, I'm learning about this as you are. I share your shock. Neither Hoyoverse nor Sound Cadence has communicated with me since October. I've been fully available and recorded multiple voice jobs in that time. I'm trying to learn more and absorb the news. Now, The reason why SAG-AFTRA has been on strike is because there's been more and more overstep from development studios and from just overall production companies like TV studios about wanting to take the voices of the actors as they're being recorded in the process and then to permanently control that and be able to utilize that with their AI tools. That is a huge problem because you are effectively erasing the jobs of these voice actors by implementing that. You come in, you do some voice lines for one part of the game, they now take control, regenerate your voice into AI, and they can use that in perpetuity in a game. And right now there's no protections and there's no financial compensation that can be included along with that. It's insanely exploitative that these companies are trying to do this. And again, Hoyoverse is not the only company trying to do this, but they're just the ones that we're seeing the most of right now. But other TV studios are trying to do the same thing. So this strike has been going on for some time because they've been in the process of trying to negotiate protections for voice actors. Now, the Nicholas part of this is a little bit different because he even self-admittedly says that he is not part of SAG, but what game companies are trying to do are a big threat. And so he was still taking a personal stand against this during this time. And so that's why he also was not submitting his voice for these roles with the company while they were still trying to do this and still trying to capitalize on that information. Now, I want to get in front of all of this and say I 100% am in support of the voice actors here wanting to protect their voices in this situation. While there's no legislation around this, while there's no protections in place protecting voice actors and their work, like, look, your voice is everything when you're a voice actor. So if somebody can just literally capture that, take that and reproduce it and do whatever they want with it forever, like that's your entire livelihood and your entire job that has just been stolen from you. So anyone who wants to stand up and in protection of their own rights and doing that, I totally accept that and am in support of that. One other thing I just want to clarify here is that there was a little bit of controversy around Nicholas saying that he did actually know what was going on and that actually he was in communication with Sound Cadence, and there was this message floating around that was allegedly a DM from him. Apparently this is fake, so if you do happen to see this passed around, this is a fake message, so don't take this with any degree of like seriousness or credibility. Apparently this is fake. So as far as we're aware, Nicholas did not know. Now, Sound Cadence themselves, the studio, did give some clarification on what's been going on their side of it. So just to clarify, Sound Cadence is a professional audio production studio specializing in providing high quality voiceover and sound services. So this is who Nick had been working with. And Sound Cadence themselves did release a statement about the whole situation because they started getting a lot of flack in this. They started getting the flack of like that they weren't protecting their talent, that they weren't helping them in this situation, but they released this statement. From top to bottom, Sound Cadence Studios is a community of artists. As concerns have been raised regarding how we work with our voice actors, we wanted to take the opportunity to clarify where we stand and how we operate. Every contract at our studio features explicit AI protections, regardless of union status. Much of our staff are actors themselves and could not in good conscience offer other performers work we would not be willing to take. The decision to recast talent on any project is not made lightly. While sometimes our hands are tied as to what we can communicate and when, we understand how personally actors take their roles and always want to ensure that no one is ever blindsided. Our studio has and will continue to honor legacy casting on all projects we've inherited whenever possible and always reach out to actors to reprise their roles before investigating any other options. We respect the decision of all actors in navigating the ongoing strike and fully support SAG-AFTRA in its AI negotiations. The passion of fan communities for video game characters and other people who bring them to life is further evidence that real human actors matter, and we will continue to bring voices to our clients' projects in the most human way possible. Now, as far as we know, Sound Cadence is at least trying to say that they honor legacy contracts and that they were always trying to get their actors to reprise their roles. So I'm assuming that's probably the case with Nicholas. Now, what may have occurred here, this is 100% conjecture, is Nicholas may have had an original contract that did not have AI protections within it when they started doing the Zenless Zone Zero contract. After everything had come up, maybe he wanted to renegotiate that contract. Maybe that's what's been going on and why he hasn't been performing, because they've been trying to work that out between Sound Cadence and Hoyoverse. But unfortunately, it seems like at the end of the day, Nicholas was removed from his role and somebody else was replaced. Now, I'm not 100% certain that it was replaced by somebody else at Sound Cadence. That's my guess and why they're getting a lot of bit of flack in this situation. But it seems like regardless, whatever the negotiations were behind closed doors, Nicholas has been let go from this. And I gotta be honest, like that just sucks. Like I think Zenless Zone Zero already gets like enough flack as like a game that nobody really cares about. But I do think it's a bit of a canary in the coal mine situation here of seeing how this is going to continue to affect the industry. And there does need to be some kind of deal or agreement that needs to be met with the union and protections for these actors. But here's the thing about this whole situation, and where I have to kind of open up and walk into reality a little bit. When I'm playing through Zenless Zone Zero on the English version of the game, English voice acting, and then all of a sudden characters randomly don't have voices in them, it is jarring. It does throw me off. It does make me feel like, oh, like why are they not there? And it breaks the immersion for the game. So I can totally understand from like a player perspective wanting to have that replaced, because you want to feel and continue to have that quality in the product. So I understand why there's been active efforts to move around that. And the reality is, in kind of like an Asmongold take, the average consumer does not care. The average player does not care who's voice acting the character. They just want decent voice acting in there. And if you're not in there because, you know, some union agreements and you're trying to get away from this or protect these things, most people don't even understand that it's a threat to the industry. So they're not going to have sympathy for the voice actors and actors in that situation. And so I understand the pressure on the companies to get the voice acting in there in one way or another. I'm not saying it's right. I just think a little bit that that's the reality of the situation. I'm also a bit of a realist in this situation, in that AI is coming whether people like it or not. And we can be super idealistic about this and advocate for this and argue about this and say that no, X, Y, and Z reason is why we should not. But the reality is AI is going to continue to develop, and it is going to replace certain functions within the gaming industry, whether it be creative outlets, concepting, visual portions, whether it's development and code, QA testing. It can be a whole variety of things. AI will come and it will be implemented, and it's a bit of an arms race right now, where if you're able to accelerate your use of AI, that's going to accelerate your production process, that's going to make these companies make more money at the end of the day. They're going to pursue that, and they're going to use it one way or another. So the best thing that we can do, I think, as like players and as like an industry in general, is we need to find the most ethical way forward in kind of working synergistically with it, as opposed to just outright being against it. Because I'm sorry, I personally just think that is a losing battle. With the rate that we've seen AI developing and constantly improving, it's going to be here before we even know it. Like if I think of like even how much AI video has accelerated in the last year, the ability to just generate people's voices from a small 20 to 30 minute clip and now be able to use that, and how fast and easily and accessible that is. I don't know how anybody can look at AI and not, without just some kind of an insane amount of ignorance, think that it's not going to happen or be used by these companies. So I do believe that we need to look at creating some kind of protections for these voice actors in their work. Here's my thought, and where I think a good middle ground could be. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'm happy to hear some disagreements or where it could go. I would love to see voice actors be able to basically package and sell their voice and be able to offer like the AI voicing for supplemental purposes. So like you still need to use the voice actor for like the primary recording, and packaging could be used for like supplemental purposes. If they need to, like, you know, rework a script, rework a section, they could use that to supplement lines. But then as a result, and the company allowing to keep that, they then basically get some kind of royalty from the game. Most actors and voice actors, when they come into a project, you get paid to voice act a certain set of lines, and then you leave and you get your gig and you're out. I would love to see some degree of royalty system being added into it, where it's like you are licensing your voice to a game, and now you get just perpetual revenue from it. Maybe that's a little bit too pie in the sky, but to me, it makes sense that if you're going to have perpetual rights to somebody's voice and you want to be able to use that in that way, that they should have access of perpetual payment for you utilizing said voice. I don't know. To me, that sounds like a pretty good middle ground here. I know some voice actors might not like that because they want to continue to use their talent, which 100% I think they should, and I would love to see more companies do it. But I think in a middle ground world where we have to navigate AI in this circumstance, to me, that seems like something that makes a little bit of sense. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do you disagree with me? Agree with me? I'd love to hear from you. And also make sure to check out my link to Raid Shadow Legends in the description and the pinned comment of this video down below. I'd love to hear from you. But that's going to be it for this one, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.